First, I would ask you, how would you react to the opening up of the foreign exchange market to the forces of demand and supply? How would you react to this as an economist?
I will react as a positive state of improving the economy based on many reasons. Some of the reasons are there is gross instability in general price level, and that took inflation to a very high percentage for a very long period. Unifying the exchange rate is an attempt using monetary tool to check possibly some of the malpractices that has been discovered in the efficient management of the foreign exchange, which is also responsible for importing inflation and at the same time importing several diseconomies to the domestic economy.
So, looking at all other moves being made by the president in just a few weeks, investors seems to be more interested in Nigeria, and I think they're extending their handshake, coming in to the country to do more business. What do you think is responsible for this?
It's responsible because there is determined leadership. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is a businessman, and he understood the environment, and he discovered that the best way to do it is just to try as much as possible to join the queue of the international development financing by creating windows at which investors will be happy, producers will be happy, and at the same time, consumers will also be happy. Remember that the floating exchange rate is a new development that has emanated as a result of breaking of the Bretton Woods Conference. The Bretton Woods Conference was in 1944. And at the same time, in trying to manage the fixed exchange rate that was prevalent, and it was prevalent at that period because some of the reasons why the Bretton Woods decided to opt for a pegged exchange rate is as a result of destroying the capacity of gold standard. And by destroying the capacity of gold standard, the model was introduced and is yielding results, and we have no option as an economy but to continue to take the option. Some African nations have also encouraged their economies to take into the queue by using the same model. Egypt is one, Burundi is second. Despite the fact that they have a lot of pitches, but it is welcome development for our economy to have the same windows for investors, for all citizens, and at the same time also to dissociate the economy from malpractices of dollarization and other diseconomies.
Interesting stuff there. Let's move quickly to the meeting in Japan, at the Financial Pact meeting. We see the president also wooing investors, telling them that you need to come home, bring the money home, let's do some business. What do you expect? What the fallout of that meeting, and what message do you think Nigeria needs to send to external, of course, parties at this time?
We are expecting to have more friendship because Nigeria is a good business environment with so much of opportunities. And at the same time, it is only a president of a nation that can market the economy. And it also depends on the nature of the president. If the president is an investment-oriented individual, he has better option because he has a lot of cliques, a lot of friends, a lot of people who are interested. So in my own opinion, yes, of course, we are expecting this development, but also we have to do it with so much of caution. Caution in the sense that the economy is looking for investors, but we have to define areas at which investment is to gender the growth of our GDP. That is one. Second, we have to also be more careful because some of the trading partners that we are engaging have a lot of complicated relationship in their trade barriers with other states. Let me give you an instance. China, for instance, is interested in pegging the yuan, and they are having it because they are exporting so much. And if they will allow foreign exchange to decide what exactly will determine the rate at which yuan can be used in transaction purposes, China is going to be defeated. And that is why they opted for a peg system by devaluing the yuan so that to encourage other economies to be their participant in dealing with them. But it is important at this window because all business partners are included, and we have our own proposal, and we have our domestic need, and we also have our priorities to build the economy.
Now, you agree with me, Mr. Liu, that if we want to get the best of the positives in international trade, we also need to improve our exports. Now, not imports, exports. So what do you think can be done to build capacity of manufacturers in country so that we can get to be so competitive and, you know, our goods and services should be on the shelf with international goods? What do you think?
Well, what I'm thinking is it cannot be far from what classical economists are advocated. You have to look at your advantage. Comparative cost advantage is very necessary. We cannot say because we want to export rice and the inputs are costing high and we are importing most of the input, and we now decide to say that we are going to increase the capacity of our production. We are going to be competed out in the market. Deciding priorities is very important. Also, understanding economic relations is also important. But when you emphasize on exporting, Nigeria is going to be net exporter of cement. And if we export cement, we are exporting cement to our neighbors in West African market. We are also extended to East Central Africa market, and we are extended to the entire continent. And we are going to have so much advantage by keeping our job and then creating new jobs and then creating new opportunities, including new revenues to government. Another advantage at which our export, I want you to understand, is the fact that today we have the largest refinery. The refining capacity of Dangote, as we discussed earlier in some of this program, is the fact that it's going to be net exporter to many nations. If you check what transpired at the commissioning of the refinery, you understand a lot of partners from Ghana, from Niger Republic, they were all present because they are expecting our export. So what we are trying to export, we export goods that we have advantage, comparative advantage. That's one important thing. And also we have to also develop our manufacturing capacity to be changing from medium scale to a larger scale production so that we can contain not only Africa, we discover new market in Asia and continue to discover other markets. And at the same time also, we cannot just be deciding our export if we don't understand the consumers that are looking forward to what we produce. So we have to check the consumption patterns of different economies and then look at areas to which we have so much advantage and invest in it. Investing in that one, I have to call the attention of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu that the development of our special economic zones is very, very important. If we decide to invest, probably some of the proceeds that is coming out from the removal of subsidy to develop such a production zone is going to help our local economy and at the same time improve our trade relation and improve our trade capacity with the rest of the world.
Interesting stuff. Mr. Yushau Aliyu would have to continue this discussion. I must thank you so much for your time. Despite the challenges, we're able to connect with you. Thank you so much for your time.
I remain grateful. Thank you very much.
And have a great weekend.